Hi everyone, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga, and welcome to Soft Flow Yoga. Want to build some upper body strength? Then stay tuned. Before we get into our upper body building practice, let's start in seated and get into some breath. So find your comfortable seat, start with some deep breaths, nice full inhale, really feel that expansion in your lungs, and exhale to completion. Good, do that again. Nice full breath in and exhale. Now just continue to breathe on your own, just feeling your breath, listening to the sound of your breath. Wonderful. Just tuning in, really connecting. Notice how you're feeling. Just a simple moment for quiet meditation to bring yourself to this moment, to be fully present. In our practice, we're going to be doing a few poses that will focus on upper body strength. So we can begin that process here even with our breathing. So on your next inhale, really feel the uplifting sensation of the breath. Feel the expansion across the chest. Then exhale as you're able, draw your belly button in towards your spine. It's a light contraction of your abdominal muscles. This is the abdominal lock. And with that contraction, we actually build support and strength from the low portion of the body. But that transfers to the upper body as well as the lower body. So again, a nice full breath in, nice expansion across the chest as you fill your lungs. Exhale, draw belly button in for that light contraction of the abdominal muscles, the abdominal lock. Do that 2 more times. Very good. Let's add a very simple movement. On your next inhale, extend your arms out, then all the way up, completing the inhale. Begin the exhale, extend the arms out, let them float back down. Complete the exhale. Do that again. Nice full breath in, reaching out and all the way up. And exhale. Now we're just introducing movement, moving with the breath. Just a simple movement of arms out and up. Notice how this feels in your shoulders. Just opening up the shoulders a bit. Some of the postures that we'll be doing today will, of course, involve our upper body, but of course our arms and our shoulders. Downward facing dog, plank pose, and dolphin pose. Finish this breath and take 2 more. Good. When you're complete, just come back to stillness and just hold for a moment, letting the shoulders and your arms relax. Let's transition to our hands and knees, and if you happen to have a blanket, this might be nice just to provide some support for your knees and your wrists. You can also just double up on your mat or even fold your mat in a way where you have some extra padding. So meet me here on hands and knees, cat and cow pose. 2 poses that flow together, starting with cow. We inhale here, just lifting and opening the heart, arching the back. Exhale, tuck the tailbone under. Feel the curvature of the spine, belly button pulling up towards spine, chin to chest. Inhale, reverse it, tipping the pelvis back. Feel the belly drop, arched back, heart opens, look forward. Exhale, round it out. As you're rounding the back with the exhale, remember to pull belly button up towards spine, still engaging the abdominal lock. Meanwhile, we're just adding some more mobility through the hips and through the spine. 3 more breaths. And when you're complete, just come back to a neutral tabletop posture, holding for a moment. And we'll crawl off the mat here, or the pad, our blanket, and just set it to the side. And just come to hero pose briefly here. Now you can have the feet flat behind you. You can even tuck your toes under so you don't have to sit all the way back. Just taking a moment to get off the hands. Let's just add a little bit of relief to the wrists here. Being in our cat-cow flow position is a force flex of the wrist. So we're going to just counterpose that, just flipping the wrist the other direction with a light pulse into the mat 2 or 3 times. Because some of our poses will be involving that force flex. We'll be coming back to plank pose, being on our hands, and also downward facing dog. But first, come up onto your knees. I'm shifting my weight into the left knee so I can actually step right foot forward here. We'll keep the toes tucked. We're just going to come up to a lunging position. I'm going to have my hands on thigh. Push into the thigh. Let's first just get into breath. Inhaling, feel the length of the spine here. Exhale, draw belly button in, just to feel the engaged body. I'm going to lean forward just a little bit. Inhale, fill yourself up. And with the exhale, connecting, drawing strength from your core, push into the floor here, lifting the knee off the floor. While we're here, let's go ahead and inhale, extend the arms out and up. We're in a high lunge position. We're in a pivot, left heel to the floor, arms come down to parallel. We're in a warrior 2 position. Just holding for a moment, outstretched arms, reaching. Really feel like you're going to touch the wall behind you and the wall in front of you, just to feel the engaged arms, strong, engaged feeling, building endurance in the arms. Very good. A big windmill effect. We're going to bring the left hand up and around and down to the thigh here. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. So I'm leaning forward into this front foot so I can get back up onto the toes. Still leaning forward because I'm going to step forward. Little bend of that back knee to help us launch, step forward. Standing all the way up, reaching into the air. Extended mountain pose. Exhale, arms come down to your side. Very nice. Maybe a little roll of the shoulders, big circles. Circle them backward, circle them forward. Let's get into the elbows here too. Okay, just circle the arms. Maybe an outward cycle, inward. Let's get back into the wrists. Like to circle the wrists a little bit and wiggle the fingers. All right, we're going to make our way back down to the ground. Let's start in mountain pose. Just changing up our format of our flowing of the whole body. Here we go. Inhale, reaching into the air. Exhale, spread your wings out to the side. Bend your knees, sit back into an imaginary chair. You can bring hands to thighs here if you'd like. Continue to slide down toward your toes, knowing that you can stop at any point. Noticing and feeling that stretch through the hamstrings, nice curvature of the spine. Even take a peek between your knees so you can see the wall behind you. Inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or knees, long, flat back. Exhale, fold. Bring hands to the floor, lean into the hands so you can start walking the feet back into plank pose. So this will be our first upper body strength posture. I'm going to give you some options with this. But first, making sure the fingers are spread out, palms are flat. You're pushing into the ground. Push into the earth as if you're trying to push the floor farther away from you. Feel the energy and strength in your arms. Meanwhile, the rest of the body is long and straight. With the exhale, you're pulling belly button up towards spine to engage your core, just to help support the body. Now, if you need to, you can always bring knees to the floor, just like this. They're slightly behind the hips, so they're not directly underneath the hips. Slight lean forward, so I'm still pushing into the ground. Strong arms here, just in case the lower half of the body gets a little fatigued. 2 more breaths. I'm going to tuck toes and kind of sit back, even walk my hands back to our hero pose. Let's do a counter pose again with the hands and wrists. And we're going to do that lunge sequence on the other side. So rise back up onto the knees, even activate the hips by pushing the pelvis forward a bit, leaning into the right knee so I can step left foot forward here, hands on thigh. I'm just pushing down into the thigh just to help encourage the lengthening of the upper body. That's an inhale. Exhale, draw belly in. Feeling that security. Shifting forward slightly. Inhale. Exhale, engage core, pushing into the floor with the toes to lift the knee. Extend the arms up into the air. Here's our high lunge. Inhale again. Exhale, pivot right heel to the floor, turn sideways, arms to parallel. If you need to, just adjust the feet so you feel grounded and solid. Outstretched arms, being sure they're parallel to the floor. Really activate the hands and fingers. Reach. And here's our windmill, bringing right hand up and around and down, bringing hands to the thigh. A little lean forward so I can rise up onto my tiptoes behind me. Leaning forward, a little bend of that back knee so I can push, step forward. Both arms out and up. Inhale, reach into the sky. Exhale, arms down to your side. Another circle of the shoulders. Very nice. Let's do them backward and forward. Get into the elbows again. There's an outward circle, inward, and the wrists and the fingers, just to give that relief. Just really opening up all those joints, shoulders, elbows, wrists, and your fingers. All right, back to our mountain pose. Let's make our way down. Inhale, reaching out and up. Exhale, spread your wings, sit back into your imaginary chair. You can bring hands to thighs. Slide down. I'm just going to pause right here, just a reminder that you don't have to go all the way down to the toes. Inhale just to extend the spine like you're moving forward. Exhale, keep folding, just bend the knees a lot more. Bring hands to the floor again, walk the feet to the back end of your mat. We're returning to plank pose here. So once I feel I've got the feet at the back end, I just shift a little bit, lowering the hips to about shoulder level and engage, pushing firmly into the floor. Strong, straight arms. There's even a sense of the inner arms drawing in towards each other, like you're holding on to an object, like a beach ball or a box between the arms. Again, if you get fatigued, you can bring knees to the floor, but keep the upper body engaged. I'm just leaning forward slightly. Pushing down, squeezing to midline, squeezing the imaginary object, and I'm continuing to pull the belly button up towards spine. 2 more breaths. Alrighty. Now go ahead and start to sit back. And as you're sitting back, keep the hands where they are, but bring your elbows to the floor. Here. I'm just going to adjust my knees a little bit. So while we're here with forearms on the floor, we're going to do cat-cow again. It's going to feel a little different. You're going to inhale, try to arch your back. Exhale, round it out. Same idea, but just with elbows on the floor. And notice where you might have new sensations. Now for me, especially when I round the back here, I feel this in my latissimus muscle. It's your wings, right here. It's part of your back muscles, and it's kind of right below the armpits. That's where I tend to feel this when I move into cat pose. Now, another reason why we're on our elbows, because we're getting set up for dolphin in a moment. Just a little preview. So again, just as we're pushing hands firmly into the floor for plank pose, we want to have that same sensation. But I don't want to sit too back. I don't want to put all the weight in my elbows. I want to shift so there's more body weight towards the hands and into the forearms, less pressure in the elbows. I'm still pushing down into the ground, but still squeezing to midline with the forearms and biceps feeling like they're squeezing to hold on to an object. So this is our setup for dolphin. But before we get there, I'm going to sit back again, come back up onto the hands. Let's move into downward facing dog first. Tuck toes. Another cat-cow. Inhale for cow, opening the heart. Exhale, rounding the spine. Hold that sensation. Make sure toes are tucked. Now lift your knees off the ground. Send your hips up into the air. Slowly send your chest and head between the arms. Now I need to tiptoe forward a little bit because it feels like I'm going to slip, and I'm going to adjust my hands. Be sure to keep the knees very bent here. That will keep the hips mobile. Send them up into the air, and that might allow you to sink the chest and head a little bit more down between the arms. Make sure your fingers are spread out pretty wide, pushing strongly into the ground, just like our plank pose, pushing the floor away from you. I'm also pressing more towards my thumbs and index fingers, inner palms. Still imagining I'm holding on to a block between the arms. You can feel the activation in the arms and shoulders. All right, let's come back down to our knees. Return to our hero pose here, flat feet or tucked toes, and give that relief to the wrists. So we were holding that downward facing dog. So when we hold these postures, that's how we're building that strength and endurance. So we've already done 2 poses. Plank pose, downward facing dog. We're going to do downward facing dog again, and then move into our dolphin pose. And we've already done some of the setup for that. So let's get ready for down dog. Let's bring the hands back out in front. Again, making sure you spread out your fingers here. Push down into the floor to flatten the palms. Now at the moment, my wrists are directly underneath the shoulders. What I like to do to set up for down dog is step the hands forward slightly, tuck toes, cat-cow. First it's cow, inhale. Exhale, round it into cat. Hold cat. Feel the core engagement. Lift the knees, send hips up and back. Head and chest sink between the arms. Make those adjustments with feet and hands as you need to. Settle in. Continue to push the floor away from you. Flat palms, press more towards thumbs and index fingers. Feel like the inner arms are squeezing inward to hold on to your imaginary object. Feel the strong activation. Just by holding this posture with good alignment and core engagement, you are building strength. This is a wonderful pose for that. All right, let's bring the knees back down. If you need to, you can sit back and provide more relief for the wrists. Okay, let's get into our dolphin pose. We've already did the setup. Let's do that again and see if we can go fully into the posture. Let's come back out to hands and knees, still spreading out the fingers pretty wide. I'm automatically just starting to walk the knees back so they're not directly underneath the hips, and walking the hands forward a little bit here too. Gently sending elbows to the ground right here. But I want to make sure I'm shifting my body weight forward so there's a little bit more weight towards the hands and fingers, wrists and forearms, less weight in the elbows. I'm pushing down into the floor, squeezing the biceps towards each other. Just do your best. It's a little bit hard to really feel that, but even just imagine it. Tuck toes. Keep this sensation. Let's see if we can do another cat-cow in this posture. Rounding here, feel that engagement in the latissimus muscles. We're going to inhale, open the heart. Exhale, round. Hold here. Keep toes tucked. Weights in the hands. See if you can lift the knees off the floor and start to lift the hips towards the sky. The chest will sink a little bit between the arms. I'm going to tiptoe forward quite a bit. This is a very strong posture, so don't feel like you have to hold it too long. If you need to rest right away, that's fine. Just come back down to the knees. This is still a wonderful version of the posture. Stay on your knees. Keep arms on the floor as they are, but engage. Lean forward, push down, squeeze in. And if you'd like, one more time, tuck toes, lift the knees, even if it's just a little bit up off the floor. You'll feel that wonderful engagement. Let's come back down. And just go ahead and sit back into a child's pose, allowing the arms and shoulders to relax. That's our practice for today. Now feel free to go through that whole sequence again, or just even practice those same postures again. plank pose, downward facing dog, and dolphin pose. I'm going to do another version of child's pose here by bringing arms down to the side, along the side of my body. Bring my blanket here to rest my head. This way the arms and shoulders can really and fully relax. Let's take a few more breaths. Very good. We'll slowly come back up. Let's return to seated. This is how we can end our practice here. Sitting up nice and tall. Let's do one more movement of the shoulders like we did earlier. So inhale, extend the arms out and up. Dynamic reach towards the sky. Exhale, arms come down to your side. Let's do that 2 more times. Let's just keep that nice mobility in the shoulders. After all, that engagement in the upper arms. Last one. Good. And just rest here. Your hands can just rest right by your side, on your knees, or in your lap. Keep breathing deeply. You can keep the arms and hands as they are, or even bring hands to heart center. Take one more full and complete breath with me here. And as we come to the close of our practice, we bow, saying, Namaste. Thank you so much for watching and participating in this yoga lesson. To help us with the channel so we can continue to bring you more content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. Namaste.